Love to have you. In the back corner over there is where you can get membership packets, and figure it out. Or if you see one of us with a badge on, talk to us about being a member if that's something you might think you want to do. But what I'd like to do is recognize you and introduce you and have you stand so we can recognize you and say welcome. So from the Keno Club, Deb Haddock. Deb? Guest of Brittany Battle, Marcella Molina. Guest Luda Eisenman, Makina Dundon. Makina. Hey, Makina. Guest Nina Trasoff, Victor Trasoff Gilge. Victor? Hey, Victor. Guest of Nina Trasoff, Sterling Trasoff Gilge. Guest of Mike Kosis, Gordon Carr. Hey, Gordon. Guest of Don Rawlings, Elizabeth Fryman. Guest of Drea Williams, Anaid Moreno. Anaid. Guest of Don Rawlings, Chris Smith. Hey, Chris. Chris is identified as a prospect. Guest of Wayne Pete, Lynn Pete. Lynn? Hey, man. And my bonus introduction today is see if I can get this even remotely close. Guest of Leah Rinaldi, Veronica Norza Garay. Hey, Veronica. I think I did all right on that.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Mr. State Farm. Let's see. So, one of my favorite things is cookies. How did you guess? And so today, where is he? Mr. Mitch Pizik is our cookie sponsor. And in exchange for his support, he gets this lovely Rotary bag to take all the leftover cookies. And he also gets the limited edition and a highly coveted Cookie Monster badge that I know everyone in here wants, and only a few end up getting. So, all right. Okay, and he's going to say something to us. Okay.
You bet. No extra charge. So
he's being Michael Guyman today.
So when I told Madam President Dot and our chairman of the board, Doreen, about why I was sponsoring the cookies today, they said, okay, we'll give you 1 minute to explain why. So here we go. Exactly 56 years ago today, the musician Queen Latifah was born, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. 66 years ago today, Soviet cosmonaut Alexei Leonov was the first person to spacewalk, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. And exactly 67 years ago today, Hawaii became our 50th state, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Exactly 5 years ago today, I finally succumbed to 3 years of unrelenting pressure from Mark Irvin and became a proud member of the award-winning, beautiful, flourishing Rotary Club at Tucson. I've made a bunch of decisions in the past 5 years. Some were inspired, some we best not discuss ever. The best one, though, was joining this club. If you are already a member, never forget to congratulate yourself on your brilliant decision. If you're not yet a member, make a brilliant decision so in 5 years we can hear you share with your fellow Rotarians what a wonderful decision you made 5 years earlier.
Thank you, Mitch. Okay, so now I get to introduce Cammie Evans, who works for Pima County, the Board of Supervisors, and she will introduce our speaker for today. So, Cammie, thank you.
I'm going to read because I'm going to get emotional, and I don't want to, so I'm going to read it so it's less personal. How's that? Many of you here, whether you know it or not, including, I don't see Jeff Ronstadt today, but I'm certain you've heard him talk about Dr. Gashan before. And whether you realize it or not, you've been affected by the good work of this organization. And many of you in the room have also positively affected the organization. So thanks for that, too, on behalf of a patient's mother. Yeah, look at that. Dr. Gashan, by way of my sister, that is my sister, by the way, if none of you know her, basically saved my son's life, his health, his quality of life, and in turn, my quality of life as a mother. We hoped he could come introduce his most worthy successor, Dr. Chamberlain, today, but true to who he is, he's treating patients in clinic right now and focusing on research and hoping to pass it on to her. So I get the honor of introducing her today, so back to script, right? Dr. Chamberlain has relocated to Tucson, and it's Tucson, right? So we actually went to college together, so there's another little connection. Dr. Chamberlain has relocated back to Tucson after 30 years at Stanford University, progressing in her career from pediatric intern to full professor and prominent program leader. She's the new University of Arizona Pediatrics Department Chair and Director of the Steele Children's Research Center. In addition, Dr. Chamberlain is a nationally recognized pediatric advocate and has just been named the President-elect of the American Pediatric Society, the nation's leading research-focused professional pediatrics association. Give a warm Rotary welcome to Dr. Lisa Chamberlain.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation today. It's really quite an honor to be able to join all of you. This is my 13th day on the job. So I started March 2nd, so I can't think of a better way to spend my 13th day than getting to know some of my newest community partners. So a special thanks to the committee who reached out with this kind invitation, and to you, Madam President. So I hope to talk for just 15, 20 minutes and then open it up for questions. I'd love to have some dialogue with you as we think together about what we can do best for kids. So I am here to talk about my favorite thing in the world, and that is children. Let's see if we can go forward. All right, as an overview, what we're going to be talking about today, I'm initially just going to tell you a little bit about my background. I'm excited to get to know all of you. Then I would like to share with you some background about the University of Arizona Department of Pediatrics, the Steele Children's Research Center, and Diamond Children's Medical Center, and then go into kind of the meat of it, which is how are our kids doing? Give you an overview of how children are doing at the level of the nation, and then Arizona, and then Pima County. I want to talk about the promise of science, both science and systems, and how that can advance the health and outcomes for all of our kids. Ones we love so much. And then a little bonus round at the end, because I understand we share a commitment to kids, you and I do a lot of early literacy work, so thought I'd share a little bit about that. All right, so I am returning to this community. My parents, my mom came from Kentucky, my dad came from Washington State. They met at ASU and in the 60s, and so I was born in Phoenix, raised in Tempe. There's my mom and I. So growing up, I had many roles. I was Joanna and Robert's daughter. I was Paul and Rob's sister, Barbara's niece, Aura, JD, Crystal, and Bob's granddaughter. And in those early years, I grew up in a beautiful, very stable, middle-class home. Books and sports were what we focused on mostly. We had a tiny black and white television that my parents said didn't work on Monday through Friday. And many years I believed them until I realized it wasn't true. But that's how it was in my house. Go pick up a book. It gave me a very strong foundation, and I am absolutely sure that's why I stand here today. As I grew, I added new roles, went on to high school, and then despite my entire family being Sun Devils, my parents meeting there, both my brothers there, I came down to the U of A in 1987. So I was just talking about good decisions. That was a great decision. At the time, I knew already I wanted to be a doctor, and this was the place you came if you were serious about STEM and science. So I came down, worked in Jack Copeland's cardiothoracic surgery lab, was able to work in the hospital and really realized my dream. I majored in anthropology. I was just talking to someone about that. I love the study of cultures and systems. And added new roles. So I was a student, a basketball, volleyball player. I was a pianist, a runner, and a good friend to many. So at that point, I was applying to residency, thought I would probably stay, but ended up applying to Stanford, and that began my 30-year chapter in California. I did my residency at Stanford, and my plan was to come right back. I told everyone I'm going to do my training here for 3 years and then go back to Arizona. But then as life would have it, your best laid plans were irrelevant. I met Kurt, who became my husband, and as we initially started talking, I'm like, well, I'm going back to Arizona, you know. And he's like, well, because he's in tech, he was in Silicon Valley, he said, I wouldn't have a job there. And so I was like, I'm going to have to think about how much I really like you. But like I said, he was the one, so married him, and then added on the roles of being Kate and Olivia's mother. During that time, as long as I was staying, I figured I might as well make the best of it. I went to UCSF for a fellowship and then Cal Berkeley for my Master's of Public Health. I joined Stanford as faculty in 2007 and progressed through being a professor, where I teach residents and medical students as well as our fellows, and as a mentor. And over time, with longitudinal relationships, became a community partner and a community friend to many of our community organizations, because it's strong communities that raise strong children. We loved raising our kids there. I enjoyed my research, caring for patients in the community. I'm a general pediatrician, and I would see patients in the community at one of our Stanford clinics, speaking Spanish most of the day, taking care of recently arrived immigrants. So I enjoyed our community and our network of friends. Kids flew off, went to college, are establishing their lives, and Kurt and I were happy. We were enjoying our rich community of friends, and then I saw an announcement. The pediatric chair job at the University of Arizona was opening up. And I went, whoa, really? And I had a little flutter. And I came home and I told Kurt about it, and I was like, guess what? The chair job's opening up. And he said, okay, you look really excited right now. He's like, I think you should think about this. And so I said, I'll throw my hat in. I don't know if I'll get it. And the kids were excited about it. Kurt was happy. He's ready to retire. And so here we are with a new chapter. So I'm coming full circle. Returning to Tucson to be the chair of pediatrics, director of the Steele Children's Research Center, and physician-in-chief of Diamond Children's Medical Center. So I can't talk about this without talking about Dr. Guichon, as he has already been so lauded by Cami. Dr. Guichon is a legend. He has established this program 30 years ago, and the evidence of his extensive impact is all around us through saved lives, changed families, new basic science discoveries, and a very strong program. He's highly regarded nationally, and it is incredibly intimidating how his fingerprints are literally everywhere. They are enormous shoes to fill. I will do my best. I never had the opportunity to work with Dr. Guichon. He took the helm right as I was leaving initially, but I've come to know him in the last 6 months, and he has a twinkle and a sparkle. I think you can see it on that picture on the right. He cares deeply for his patients, and I really admire him so much. He and I are in close coordination, and he has agreed to support me and through this transition. So I'm deeply honored and grateful to have this passed to me. So I'm excited to tell you about his fabulous department of pediatrics that he built. So like all academic departments, pediatrics is focused on 3 different areas: clinical care, discovery, and education. Clinical care, it really all starts there. We care for patients, all patients, underserved patients, commercially insured, it doesn't matter. Our education and our research flow from that clinical care. It is our foundation, it is the key component. Then education. All academic medical centers have the obligation to train the next generation of physicians, and our department is proud to train most of Arizona's pediatricians. And then discovery, research, innovation. Some faculty are focused on discovering new cures, some conducting clinical trials, others on how we can use quality improvement to improve how we care for patients. All of these types of research are key to our success. So I'd like to go into each of these with a little more detail as to what it looks like here at the University of Arizona. So how many of you know the Steele Research Center, Steele Children's Research? Wonderful. Okay, so at the end of this talk, it should be 100%. This is such a gem. I had no idea. It blew me away when I interviewed. I'd really like to point out this quote. NIH-funded research has placed us in the top 25% of all pediatric programs nationwide, with over $10 million in federal research funding. That is extraordinary. You have a gem in this community, and I just really want to encourage you to get to know it better. So this was built in 1992. We have 28 labs running right now across 4 different floors at the College of Medicine. Our researchers focus on children's illnesses with strength in the areas of autoimmunity, neonatology, hematology, oncology, and developmental pediatrics. We are facing an interesting time in this country with a lot of funding cuts to the NIH, which threatens the foundation of such research centers. So I want to share with you an email I got this morning. If it forwards, no, I guess maybe not. Well, anyway, I got a great email from Dr. Katsanis letting me know that this morning they were awarded a big R01 award to explore pediatric hematology oncology, looking at how natural exercise can help kids fight cancer. So it's a really exciting new pathway. So just this morning we got a big one, so that was great. So in addition to all of those kinds of research, we have many new things coming on deck. Research looking at bone marrow transplant, improving diagnostics around people with autism and autoimmune diseases, and as always, Dr. Gishan loves the gut microbiome, so he's looking at a link between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease. So lots of interesting questions being asked. And over half of our labs have been recently renovated. Oh, see there, congratulations. Now it comes up, his R01 was approved, so just wanted to share his good news with you from just this morning in my inbox. Okay, it's kind of a funny thing right now. Okay, so this is what some of our research scientists look like. This is one of our labs, Dr. Paul Kiela. He is the principal investigator. He's the one without a lab coat on, ironically there. And this is his team. So they focus on the gut epithelial cell biology and pathogenesis of inflammatory bowel disease. So again, 28 labs, all sorts of people all over the hospital doing incredible work like this. And here's what some of our labs look like. We really appreciate them being renovated and appreciate the support, the philanthropic support of many groups, including the Steele Advocacy Board, the Pandas, the Elks, many of whom who generously support these renovations and keep our teams going. So I'm super glad to have the chance here to give you a glimpse of our Steele Children's Research Center. Again, punching above its weight, and I'm so proud of it. So moving from discovery to education, we are very busy training the next generation of pediatricians. We train not only our residents, but our medical students and our fellows, so the whole spectrum of learners. Residents are hardworking. Here's some pictures of them having fun, as well as working hard. They have hearts of gold. Residency is 3 years of working 80 hours a week. It's capped at 80. They can't go more than 80, and they all get to 80. So that means working many, many hours. We have just matched, Monday, 16 new residents into our program, so we're so exciting and have graduated over 153 pediatricians over the last 10 years. In terms of fellowships, so how you train to be a specialist, we are opening a new neonatology fellowship program and expanding our pulmonary fellowship. This is really important because nationally we have a workforce shortage of pediatric specialists, so very excited to be building in that area. And our third mission area is that of clinical care. So this is our flagship Children's Medical Center, the only medical center dedicated to kids in southern Arizona. It was opened in 2010 after a naming gift by Joan and Donald Diamond and family, for which we are so, so grateful. So this is where we care for some of the sickest kids. We have 116 beds for children. All are private except for in our neonatal intensive care unit, our NICU with the tiny babies. They all have to be together so we can watch them all. In addition to that, we have the highest level NICU in Southern Arizona. We are the only place that does ECMO, which is basically bypass outside of the body. So cardiopulmonary bypass, we take the blood out, oxygenate it, and put it back in. This is a last-ditch attempt that we would do to help buy a child time so that they could recover from their illness. So ECMO is a new technology. It didn't exist when I was trained, and you have to have a very specialized center to be able to support such technology. So our clinical care provides children with pediatric cancer and blood disorders across Arizona. So it gives you a sense of our all that we do to undertake every day about our kids. So now I want to move into how are our kids doing, and give you an overview of kind of how things are progressing. So when we talk to our pediatric residents at the beginning and we say, how do you think about kids in general? There's kind of two big groups that we talk about. We talk about overall, most are well. Most are thriving, some are not thriving. And then we have children with serious medical conditions. So serious medical conditions are kids, sometimes they're born with them, things like congenital heart problems, they're born with a problem in their heart, so it's there right from the start. Other serious conditions develop over time, like type 1 diabetes. Taken all together, these kids are about 3% of the population on the right there. If you add asthma into that, a lot of kids have asthma, that'll go up to about 10% of kids have some sort of medical condition. So for kids overall, those who are not thriving, some are struggling with weight. Both groups, that kind of ellipse in the middle, are struggling with mental health conditions, which, as we know, are going up, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. So if we start by looking at the kids on the left, this is a consensus report that was published last year. It came out of NASM, the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, by doctors Cheng and Perrin, both of whom are close colleagues of mine. And Tina actually is, the next two slides are hers, so I want to acknowledge her sharing her slides with me, which I appreciate. So this big report came out recently about launching lifelong health and improving health care for children, youth, and families. So an entire committee chaired by these two reviewed all of the literature that we know about children and how they're doing. So the current child health care landscape is not great. The U.S. faces a crisis with poor and worsening child health and well-being, with impacts on workforce of the future. U.S. ranks at the bottom among wealthy nations in terms of mental well-being, physical health, academic, and social skills. Children living in poverty and from marginalized groups all face poorer health and higher rates of health conditions. There's an increasing incidence of chronic diseases, though many of these are preventable. And we've seen an increase in mortality and morbidity in terms of mental health, obesity, and substance abuse. And so things are a little sober. These increases make the U.S. workforce less prepared to meet the needs of businesses and industry, and they certainly diminish our military preparedness. 77% of American youth cannot qualify for military service. Last year, the three branches of the military did not meet their requirement goals because so many children are not eligible, youth are not eligible, due to mental health, substance abuse, and obesity. So at a time when the U.S. birth rate has been decreasing, and there are increasing numbers of older people to support, we have fewer people coming up to support all of us. We really need to support and invest in our kids for all of our sakes. So moving from the national level to the state, how are our kids doing? On your table, there are some handouts. This is from the Annie Casey Foundation, which every year puts out report cards on how our nation is doing for our children. Overall, Arizona ranks 42 out of 50th. There are 4 domains that they use. This is all data-driven to talk about how our kids are doing. The different domains are economic indicators, education, et cetera, and all 4 are on those handouts. I pulled out health here, because I'm a pediatrician, that's what I'm going to talk about. And so you can see here, for instance, low birth weight is an early indicator, again, very quantifiable, in terms of how healthy the pregnancy was. We have higher than national averages, and our percentage is getting worse. Uninsured children, children that do not have health care coverage. They do not have access. 9% in Arizona, which is much higher than the national average, about unchanged since last year. Child and teen deaths per 100,000, worse than last year. and ranks 30th in the country. And then child and teens, 10 to 17, who are overweight and obese, 30% and going in the wrong direction. So let's focus on mental health. The Surgeon General declared a mental health emergency for our youth a couple years ago, and I can tell you as a clinician, it's absolutely true. I used to see in a morning 15, 16 patients, and 1 or 2, the primary concern would be something around anxiety, depression, things like this. By the time I was moving to Tucson, it's probably at least a third. It's every third patient is there for mental health problems. So this trend was on the rise prior to COVID, but it was exacerbated by COVID. So in terms of Arizona, they recently released an adolescent mental health report, and where they describe 40% of adolescents experience poor mental health in the last 30 days. So that 40%, actually, I'm realizing as I'm saying it, matches exactly what I was seeing in clinic. Again, made worse by the pandemic. So coming down to Pima County, this is a Pima County Community Health Needs Assessment, which the county does every other year. This is from 2024. And for the very first time, adolescents and their well-being are the #1 priority. So your county has said this is, and it's the first time ever, anything besides an adult is the first priority. Children and adolescent health, mental and behavioral health, and substance use disorders. Now, one thing that I was really heartened to read when I reviewed this report is that they describe how Tucson is such a rich community in terms of organizations who collaborate to support health and well-being. That there is a rich community of nonprofits, of schools, of lots of different organizations that could come together to help our families. So I'm very excited that there is great potential for alignment and collaboration. Okay, moving on to our other group of kids, children with serious medical conditions. That all might have been a bit of a downer, so let's turn it up a little bit. When we think about kids who are really sick, there has been an absolute triumph of science and systems change in the last 40 years. Let's talk about prematurity at first. How many of you remember when President Kennedy and Jackie Kennedy lost their child, Patrick? Yeah, I thought people would remember that. They lost their child at the baby was born 5.5 weeks early, and that's about at 7.5 months. So she was 7.5 months pregnant when she went into labor. President Kennedy was not with her. He flew quickly and got to her, but Patrick only lived for 2 days. He died from respiratory distress syndrome, which just means premature lungs. The lungs were not formed enough to be pliable enough to be able to pass oxygen. This was the most common cause of death for premature babies. The invention and discovery of surfactant, which is when a newborn is born who's premature, as pediatricians, we come to the delivery, we take the scope, we put it in the baby's mouth, we open it up, we put down the tube, and we give them surfactant. That surfactant goes into the lungs, helps them remain pliant, and they're fine. That is a beautiful discovery. So while we lost Patrick Kennedy, today 37.5 weeks is considered early term. It's not even considered preterm anymore, and over 99% of those babies survive. So that is an incredible discovery. All right, let's move on and talk about leukemia. Unfortunately, sometimes children get leukemia. In 1950, 10% survived. Median survival of 3 months. Swift and devastating. Today, 90% survival. Those kids grow to be adults. It's absolutely beautiful. Let's end with cystic fibrosis, a disease of the lungs, a genetic disease because of an ion channel problem, and your lungs don't function well. In 1950, life expectancy was somewhere between 1 and 10. So hard to lose a child in those years. Today, into their 60s and beyond, due to new therapies, drugs, and lung transplant. So this is a triumph. I mean, this is so, I just can't believe we don't all know this and celebrate this all the time. It's extraordinary. And so let me tell you a story that not only talks about the science, because we have advanced with that, but one of the things that's allowed us to advance with the science is that we've changed our system of care. And we've created regionalized care where we bring the sickest kids together. So let me tell you a story about that. Some of you may recognize here. This is Jimmy Kimmel. He's hanging out with his third child, Billy. And he shared his story, everything that I'll share with you, and the pictures, and there will be a picture of a baby in an intensive care unit. So if that would be troubling, don't look at the next slide. Give you a heads up. He shared all of this about his journey because he wanted to raise awareness about this incredible system of pediatrics that we have. So he and his wife were having their third child. Everything seemed fine. Normal prenatal care, normal ultrasounds. They have 2 healthy children, nothing to be worried about. And so they delivered their child in Los Angeles at an outside community hospital. And very quickly it became clear that Billy was not okay. His oxygen levels were very low. He was really pale and gray. In the Washington Post, he talked about how he and his wife were shocked to discover that the teams were very worried about Billy, and that they told him that there was something wrong with his heart and he needed to be moved. The newborn, he says, was taken by ambulance to Children's Hospital Los Angeles, where he underwent open heart surgery or some kind of magic, as Kimmel described it. This is not magic. This is regionalized care. This care, bringing all the kids with rare conditions to one place, drives volume. If you have volume, what tracks with volume? Quality. Okay, so you get very good at things. You drive that volume, you drive that quality. This is what happens in children's hospitals. We bring everyone together. It leads to incredibly skilled nurses, respiratory therapists, phlebotomists, doctors. The whole team knows how to care for tiny babies like this. We're in a community hospital. You see that once a year, you're going to be like, right? So you got to bring all of those rare things together to have these amazing outcomes. So that's the kind of stuff that happens at Diamond Children's. We bring kids together from Nogales, from all over southern Arizona, to one place where we can deliver this incredible care. So this is what it looks like in Los Angeles. 88 hospitals serve the massive population in Los Angeles, but they're served by 3 children's hospitals. Mattel at UCLA, CHLA, that's where Billy went, associated with USC, and it's hard for me to call it Rady Children's. It used to be Children's Hospital Orange County, CHOC, and just got acquired by Rady Children's. So what happens is, again, all of these outlying cases get brought in, right? Billy was in one of those outlying community hospitals, and he was transported in. And we do this not just for prematurity, but for, like I said, cancer, cystic fibrosis, all of the diseases. So that regionalized care is really a critical part of our story in pediatrics. As I've come to Tucson, I'm discovering there are many clinical sites for care. Many of these you may recognize: El Rio, the Children's Clinic, our partners at TMC, a lot of private practices there, Indian Health Services, Diamond Children's. So lots of different places. And one thing I'm hearing over and over again from all the faculty that I meet is that we send kids to Phoenix a lot. This region sends kids. Maybe they need to go, maybe they don't. I'm really excited to dive into the data. I'm kind of a data head that way. And to understand what are the patterns of regionalized care in this community, and how can we put the family and the care and the volume ahead of everything else. How can we figure out how to take absolute best care of the kids that we can as close to home as possible? When we're in over our heads, they need to go to Phoenix, of course. But if we can take care of them here, how can we do that? And then how can we build our capacity so that we do that as rarely as possible? But regardless, it should be data-driven. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so I promised you a bonus round. I heard that you all really like early childhood literacy. And so one of the things I did at my previous institution, one of the things I love to do is to build coalitions. It's like one of my superpowers. It makes me really happy. And so I was practicing there, seeing patients in the community, and I realized that a lot of my patients, they would come in and they would be like, you know, I'm leaving this clinic because I had to wait an hour or whatever. And I'm like, I'm really sorry, we're doing the best we can. I hear you. If you need to go somewhere else, I understand. And then like a week later, I'd get a patient in. I left Fair Oaks because I had to wait an hour. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really sorry. You know, so the patients were just going back and forth. And I realized there's like 8 clinics and we're all taking care of the same population. And we have different bosses, right? So some of us work for the county, and some of us work for community health centers, and some of us work for Stanford in the community, and some of us work for federally qualified health centers, FQHCs, but we were taking care of the same patients, but we were never talking to each other. And I thought that was insane. And so I reached out because I kind of knew everybody's names, because our charts were going back and forth. And I said, hi, my name's Lisa. Do you want to get together? I thought maybe we could talk about it and see if we could start working together, even though I realized we don't all technically work together. And I invited 12 people, and I sent the email later than I wanted. It was going to be like 2 weeks later. And I thought, well, if 6 people come, I'll be happy. 12 out of 12 came. And we started working together. And it was one of the hardest things to do was to leave this group of people. We worked for 15 years together. No one got paid to do this work. We did this on our own time. We met every other week. And we talked about what do our families need. And initially, during the Great Recession, they needed food. People were hungry. There weren't enough jobs. And so we talked about, well, how do we screen for food insecurity? What more could we be doing? And one clinic's like, oh, this is how we screen. Oh, that's a great idea. So we all shared it. And then, oh, do you have a connection with the food bank? No. What's your flyer look like, et cetera? So we shared best practices. We shared connections. Then we moved on and we worked on early childhood literacy. We were frustrated when our kids, we felt like our beautiful 5-year-olds going into kindergarten, we would screen them for kindergarten readiness and ask, let's count to 5, 1, 2, and the kids wouldn't finish it. Or what color is this paper? What color is my jacket? And they wouldn't know. And it was so frustrating. I'm like, these are super smart kids. What's going on? They weren't in preschool. There weren't enough Head Start spots. And the parents were like, won't they learn that stuff in kindergarten? They're just little. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a cultural gap. That's no. And so we started talking about early childhood literacy and books and mental health and food and diapers. And anyway, we've addressed many topics over the years, but I'm going to focus on books. So we got a grant to introduce a program. Well, we all have Reach Out and Read. So Reach Out and Read is a great program that distributes books for well child checks. But we built on that and started something called Talk, Read, Sing, where we were able to get these materials, books, tote bags, T-shirts, blankets that all say Talk, Read, Sing to your children. So that no matter where they're walking around in Costco, they've got that tote bag that says Talk, Read, Sing on it. Talk, Read, Sing, and we would distribute these bundles when the baby was born in our nursery. Our Stanford nursery delivered 85% of all the Medicaid babies in our county. So they'd get it right at the beginning, and then 9 months, 18 months, 24 months. So we really infused all that into the community. The next thing we did was build little libraries in every one of our clinics. This was my clinic where I worked, and every day I'd walk by this empty bookshelf, and I swear to heaven, it was like taunting me. I'm like, I'm an empty bookshelf. And right above it was a big TV that played Nemo on a loop. I mean, I could hardly stand it. And so we built a little library and filled it with donated books. And kids can take as many books as you want. Sibling, take some books. We don't care. Somebody's like, well, what if they take a whole bunch of books? And it's empty. I'm like, is that not our goal? Like, I'm good with that. Take as many as you want. And so over the last 10 years, we've moved almost 20,000 books into the community. Again, all of this done with donations. Other things we did, we moved storytellers into our waiting rooms. How to share a book with a child is a really important thing to learn. So we were able to tap our undergrads to come in, sit on the floor, read to the children, show the parents how to do dialogic reading. So that's something that we built. And then we had to shut it down during COVID, but we just relaunched it. And last, our clinic waiting rooms. This is what the waiting rooms look like. And I'll tell you, I took my child to a private practice. It did not look like that. The private practice waiting room was beautiful. And so I said, what are these rooms saying to our kids? And so we were able to get Stanford fine arts majors to come in and paint murals that they developed with the community, so that we're really saying that this is an article, what do our clinical environments say to our families? Model for advocacy. So I'll just close with that and say thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be able to share with you the gem of the Steele Children's Research Center, Diamond Children's, and our Department of Pediatrics. We have so many challenges, and I know that one part was depressing, but I know we can do hard things. We can do hard things. And I'm so excited to see what we can all build together. So I just really want to encourage you, that's my email. reach out. Always reach out to me. I am very available. And closing with the first woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize, Jane Addams, one of my heroes. So thank you very much for the invitation today.
And as our club knows, and as Lisa needs to know, is that our club is very invested in early childhood literacy. And so what we do is ask our speakers to sign, and in this case, the book is called A Kid's Guide to Clinical Research. So is that perfect? So if you can sign this, yeah.
Computer out of here so you can see over it. Sorry.
There, I can't see over the laptop. Thank you for that. Okay. There we go. So we have a couple of birthdays to celebrate today, starting with Mr. Joe Pennington, Personal Financial Advisors. He was our 2011 car show chair. And this ski season, 2025 and 2026, is his first miss in 44 years, but it was the best year to miss. So happy birthday, Joe Pennington.
I need to raise this up a little bit. First, I want to start out by thanking Max Hahn. A few of the club members will remember Max. He was the old turkey, if you recall. And he was my sponsor into the Rotary Club at Tucson, so I want to remember him. This is my 40th year of standing before you. And it's really a delight. For many years, Drew Vactor and I, we share the same birthday, but we would also share the podium together. Since that time, I've had some skiing or whatever, and Drew has been here. He was here on his birthday, so I'm making up for my lack of being here on my birthday. I want to thank Dot Krett for being president of this club. For 44 years, we've had 44 different presidents, and they've all done a great job. This is the finest club in the world, and I'm happy to be a member of it. So thank you, Dot. For my birthday donation this year, I'll show you what a great president Dot is. She puts a little sign on your birthday plate that says, "We want you to donate to the annual fund." So I'm going to donate to the annual fund. In addition to that, I'm going to donate to JTED. Lynn Pete is here. Her husband, Wayne, was one of the founders of JTED and served on the board for a long time. It's one of the finest education opportunities for young people that want to go into the trades or things other than just straight into college. It's a great opportunity to contribute. And then lastly, I'm going to donate to the Rotary Vocational, not rehabilitation, but education fund. Again, it supports young people wanting to get started in this world, and it's also a tax credit donation. So you can give $400 to JTED, $400 to, or $800, I guess it is, to the Rotary, and it comes off your Arizona income tax. So it's a direct credit. And anytime you can take advantage of direct credit tax, then you should, because you can send it to wherever you want it to go. Thank you very much, Dot.
Thank you, Joe. That was beautiful. Thank you, Joe. And let's see, next, having a birthday next week on March 28th is Bob Morgan from Complete Flooring. Come on up, whoops. Come on up, Bob. He's been a member since 2018, and what you all need to know about Bob is that chocolate chip cookies are his kryptonite. So, Superman, Bob Morgan.
Well, I'm so grateful that they didn't just bring cake, but also cookies. So I want to thank Doc Crate, too. I didn't know about all these other opportunities to donate, so I just gave it to you. Thank you all, and in particular, thank you to Tom Strasberg, who got me into this club, and several younger friends who've reinforced why I'm here. I really appreciate you all. This is big for me. Thank you.
Complete Flooring, I'll give them a plug because they did the carpet in my office and the new floor at Pac Mail, and were fabulous to work with. So recommend you, Bob. Thank you. Don Rawlings, America West Investment. His birthday is also March 28th. And I'm just going to read something that no one would know about me, just the way he wrote it. Because you probably didn't know, and I'm trying to get this visual that I will have now forever, as you will too, when you hear that Don danced the tango with a high school principal in Argentina, in the Argentina seaside city of Pinamar, during a school assembly in March of 1994. At the time, he was the leader of the Rotary Group Study Exchange, and so the dancing was done at the request of the students in attendance. There was lots of clapping and laughter, so I want you to all have the image of Don dancing the tango.
Let's see. Thank you, President Dodd. Friends and fellow Rotarians, today I want to keep it simple. My primary goal is to express my gratitude. I begin by thanking all of you for two things. Your expressions of support, love, and encouragement following Nan's passing have been very meaningful and will never be forgotten. I also want to thank you for who you are, a group of people who care about each other, those around you, and those who are far away. I always have considered it an honor to be a member of our club. I also want to thank my Rotary sponsor, William Hawes Smith, who introduced me as a new member 17,031 days ago. That's a long time, you might say, but I would respond that it's not long enough. Finally, I want to thank my children, Elizabeth and Jim, for their love, support, and guidance. They know how much Rotary means to me. As an expression of my gratitude and a way to honor Nan, I want to make a contribution to the Rotary Foundation Annual Fund. I wish you all the very best. May God bless you.
Next, we get a Paul Harris presentation, and they're already up here. So Joe Danishevsky is going to do the honors.
Thank you. What an awesome program. Thank you for being with us. And I'm honored to make a presentation today for a Paul Harris. Greg Durnan is a one-year member of our club, and he is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow. He is wearing his new pin and received his certificate from Rotary International. If you look very closely, he's completely color coordinated with all things Rotary. Greg is the founder and CEO of Acacia Information Technologies, LLC, that has worked with businesses in Tucson for over 30 years. They are a managed services provider working with their customers under contract to help support, protect, and build their businesses through technology. As involved community volunteer, Greg has served the last 3 years as the board chairman of the Greater Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce, growing their membership from 450 to over 870. That is impressive. He also serves on the board of the Southern Arizona Chamber of Commerce Alliance and is the president and founder of the Greater Vail Area Chamber of Commerce, growing that group from 4 to over 110 businesses. Also impressive. Additionally, he is the district chairman of the Spanish Trails District of the Boy Scouts of America. He serves as board chairman of TMM Family Services, is a board member of Trot Therapeutic Riding of Tucson, and is a member of the Southern Arizona Leadership Council. He and his wife have been involved with the Tucson Rodeo Leadership Council, and they have been part of the parade committee for over 4 years, and they have been judges for the parade. Born in Bloomington, Michigan, Greg and his wife, Chris, have been married for 24 years. Their son, Dalen, is a senior at the University of Arizona.
Yay.
Go Cats! Greg's hobbies are horses and rodeo. He and his wife own a small ranch in Vail where they raise horses and have ridden in many events, including ranch sorting, cutting competitions, and team penning. As to why he donates to Rotary International, Greg shares this. I believe that more than just our local community needs assistance. Watching what Rotary does for people around the world is inspiring, and I want to be part of that. Please join me in thanking Greg for his support and in receiving his Paul Harris Fellow.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms, or Mr. State Farm, whichever you prefer, Dan Comm.
How about Sergeant State Farm? I don't know. All right, here we go. The pot, the small pot today is $95. Big pot is $1,337. Ticket number 3077. Thank you all for donating. 46. 307746.
All right, Carrie.
Oh, Carrie. All right. Hang on one second. I got two more things. Settle down. I know. Pick a card. Any card. Two of diamonds, sir. Two of diamonds. Not a winner. All right, so today, the other day, I was watching TV in the morning, and I'm going to go on to my Way to Go. Next, please. And Way to Go was The Haven, and Amy Graves was on. She was on with Pat Paris, and she is our Way to Go, and she's making a donation of $100 to, I think, the President's Discretionary Fund. Vicki, do you want to say one thing real quick about The Haven?
Yes.
Real quick.
So recently we met
Here.
Joe, Lisa,
Vicki.
Recently, we met at the Haven with Amy, Joe D., myself, and Lisa Fogel, and they're building a garden. They're calling it a Make Ways garden to teach for education purposes and for, to be in nature. And they're going to build a peace pole, and so they're asking for donations for the peace pole and for the garden. So if you would like to donate, let Lisa or Amy know. Alrighty, thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Amy. It was good to see you on TV.
And their annual Chrysalis Luncheon is tomorrow at the Doubletree, so if you'd like to go, I'm sure that Amy can still squeeze you in at the last minute. It's always a great event. Speaking of great events, on your table and on the screen, we have a zillion and a half projects and meetings, so hiking and golf fellowships, Triangle Y, all kinds of things coming up that you need to know about, and so they're on the website and they are in print on your tables in front of you. So then we have Red Badge selfies, and Red Badge are new members, and so when you see a new member, take your picture. So slide 1, we have Diana Cannon, new member Lori Schroeder, we have Marcia Crumweedy and Lisa Stanton, and then on the second picture over there is Elena Ha, Nancy Bevins, Vicki Jacobs, and Leah Renali, who we already heard from this morning with the pledge and song. And then slide 2, we have Eric Lamb, Casey O'Connor, Peter Behan, and Roger Harwell. So thank you all. Our next week is our mixer at Trident 2 on the patio on Swan. So please go online and register, because due to the space, we're capping it at 70 people. So go on and register. Also online, registration is up and ready to go for our meeting on April 1st, which features Senator Mark Kelly. So it's going to be kind of a town hall fireside chat arrangement. So we won't have this big long table, so we can fit more tables. And one of those tables will be the president's table, where Mark will be sitting. And so we are currently looking for somebody to help sponsor the meeting, and that will include sitting with Mark at the table. So if you're interested in chit-chatting with Senator Kelly, that might be a really good way to do it. So if you're interested, let me or Dorina know. Let's see. So also you have to go online. Everybody needs to register, both yourselves and your guests. And it went out, an announcement of it went out on Impact, because we are going to invite Rotarians from other clubs. So it's going to fill up fast. As of yesterday morning, we were at 109, and that's 2 weeks out. So please don't do your usual wait till the last minute. Sign up now so we know. Also, April 22nd at the Tucson Country Club. How many of you went to the event last year? It was fabulous. And is Curtis here? Okay, good, because this year's going to be even fabulouser. So don't tell him I said that. However, so save the date, April 22nd at the Tucson Country Club. And as we get more information, we will let you know. But for now, save the date. Also, the Tucson, how many of you are familiar with the Special Olympics? Oh, good, a lot of you. Well, their big event is on March 28th, and they need volunteers. So it's for their spring games, 6:30 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, to be held at Amphi High School. And if you let us know, we can let them know, and then Rotarians can be put together so that you're with everybody. So, or all of the other Rotarians. If you're interested, so you can sign up for that as well. Now we have a lovely presentation from Miss Brittany Battle, and as she's walking up, she can? I can do it here. Oh, all right, well, she's going to do it from there then. Thank you, Britt.
So I get the chance to do a Happy Jackson right now, and I think the theme that I'm feeling today and always here is gratitude. And so my Happy Jackson today is gratitude, and an update for all of you that I'm now working at the Tucson Girls Chorus, and I love it. Yay, yeah, where's the rowdy table on that? Thank you. And I would not be here, I'm telling you right now, I would not be working here if it wasn't for this club. Many of you have known that Chris Dodge mentored me and helped teach me how to find my voice and how to sing, and I would not be who I am today without that. And finding out that I was a singer, led me here. And so I get to work for an organization that cares deeply about girls and came from powerful women that have cared deeply about the mission, including Jonathan Walkup's stepmother, Beth, who was their executive director and brought in Dr. Marcela Molina, who's now my boss. And I love it because I learned how to find my voice through this club. I get to serve on the board now, which utilizes my voice. Thank you all for voting for me to be in that role. Thank you. So now I get to help other girls find their voice, and it is more than serendipitous to me because you guys helped me get there. I'm probably going to cry. So I just wanted you to know we're in our 40th year at the Tucson Girls Chorus. I have one more slide. I have a loving call to action. I don't ask a lot of you, but today I am going to ask two things of you. One, help us raise $40,000 for our 40th year. This is my joy to do this. We had a wonderful donor give an anonymous $40,000 match, so we have a match. So there's a QR code. If you donate, I will see it. I will call you and thank you, and I will sing to you. Did you hear that? Okay,
That's
so
worth
please,
it.
And any bit helps. And then also we have a big spring concert in May, on May 3rd at 4 o'clock, and it's 350 girls. We're going to be at Centennial Hall singing, so come see that. One last thing, and I'll promise be quick. One of the beautiful things that our club does is we give to nonprofits all the time. It's part of our mission, and we do it often. The president has a discretionary fund, and the president, Dot, has allowed us, each board member, to give $1,000 to a different nonprofit. So if you're giving to the president's fund, you get to give directly to nonprofits, and each of our board members, Michael Guyman did this recently, gets to do that. So I'm giving the first $1,000 of our $40,000 campaign from our club to Tucson Girls Chorus. So what a joy for me to gift Dr. Molina and our club $1,000 to Tucson Girls Chorus. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Girls Chorus. Lovely, lovely. So actually, Joe, it wasn't just you. Everybody has on their table this lovely piece of paper that Charlotte wrote up and talks about the President's Discretionary Fund, talks about every Rotarian every year. So EREY, every Rotarian every year. It's a goal of international that every Rotarian contribute because the money comes back to us. So you donate it to us, it goes to international, and then it comes back to us in terms of the global grants. So what we're doing in Senegal comes from your contributions. So there's more detail about that in this flyer, and also very easy way for you to contribute to that. So since tax season is right around the corner, it's also tax deductible and contributes towards your Paul Harris. So everybody be generous. Thank you. Let's see. Alan, are you ready? So while Alan's walking up, slowly, there you go. So because of the presentation today, I'm going to share with you a story very quickly, because my friend, my walking buddy, Emily, went to pick up her 8-year-old grandson on Sunday. And when she went to pick him up, his mom, who's a nurse, said to Emily, "He's been asking a lot about sex lately, so please don't engage, let me handle it." I said, she's a nurse, right? So they get in the car, and her grandson looks at Emily and said, "You know, Grandma, I just found out where I came from." And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "But it's really gross. You don't want to know. Trust me, you don't want to know." What you do want to know is Alan Schroep.
Thank you, President Dot. So I'm here to talk about membership, and I just listened to every single person that came up to the podium today, and they talked about membership, about how valuable this club is and how much they love it, and that's just all genuine and unrehearsed. So there's nothing better than that, but why do we need to recruit members? And so we love all of each other. We love the club that we have. Why do we need to recruit members? I'll keep it really short here, but and I know we're short on time. So bottom line is, we are a service organization, and we want to have an impact. Once members join and they engage, they tend to stay. But there are life changes that happen. And so if that impacts 10%, that's 25 people a year that we need to replace just to stay where we are, right? So with that, Rotary isn't for everybody, but we're looking for people that embody service. If you know somebody that fits that bill, then please invite them to a meeting. The club will pay for their first lunch, and we would love to get to meet them. Thank you.
All right. You're up. So next, we have, oh, there you are. So several members of this group have been working very hard on a strategic plan. So Jonathan Walkup and Chuck, and there's a whole bunch of people who've been working on it, so we're going to hear about it right now, and we are going to run over, so please be patient, and I know, Jim. And here's Jonathan Walkup, who's done a fabulous job with this. So Jonathan, take it away.
All right. You know, with an agenda like that, you'd figure that's enough for one day. But as Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. We're going to go through the strategic plan, page by page, word by word. So young Sterling over there can say, now I know what a strategic plan is. All right, no, I'll get on with it. So we allocated 10 minutes for me to share our 5-year strategic plan, and I'm happy to do so. As Dot would say, thank you, Dot, for giving me this time. My name is Jonathan Walkup. I was the co-chair with Chuck Sawyer and a small leadership team, and then a group of really talented subject matter experts. And before I go too far, I want to, share with you the intellectual capital that we used in order to develop this 5-year plan. And you'll notice that there is a combination of new and experienced leaders. Most of them, have been presidents at one time. They're in leadership roles. And we had a lot of people that put in the time to develop this. Daniel Allen and Curtis and Chuck were the kind of the core leadership team. But without their help, we wouldn't have gotten this document completed. Okay, so as a consultant, when I'm do the strategy consultant for large companies, there's 3 things I always wanted to impart if I wanted change to take place. It's why now, and what happens if we don't. And so that's what we use to do this. Why? We want to do this because we need to continue to add value to the community and to our members. Because as you know, there's competing forces out there for your time, your energy, and your money, and we want this to be the place that you get value, where you can give back and also receive. Why now? Well, it's 2026, and it was a 5-year plan, so 2020 is now expired. So we've got to give you another 5-year journey moving forward. And what happens if we don't do this? I wouldn't like to think about it, but we wouldn't be as vibrant as we are today. So we need to continue to move this forward. So here's the hook. This plan is about providing a roadmap so we can continue to do what we do best, and that's serve Tucson community with energy, passion, and pride. This is just a brief methodology that we use going through different phases, determining our strengths, our weaknesses, our threats, and then we developed the vision, we made the plan, and now we've got a scorecard to measure our success moving forward. This took place over the last 4 months. We started this in November. We had facilitated workshops, and we really just got into it. And that's the process we took to develop this, the final strategic plan. How do we define the success? Our key design points were this. We wanted to align and integrate the club and the foundation. We didn't want to have separate plans. We wanted to integrate them into one plan, and that's one thing we wanted to do. We wanted to address the top questions from our presidents. They had like 26 of them, but on our very first workshop, we put them all up on the board, and we all got to vote. We voted on the top 6, and we said, those are the questions we want to answer. We wanted to align our activities with Rotary International's 4 priorities, and they are, if you have never read them, they're increase our impact financially, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our club's ability to adapt. The thing that's cool about this is that as a strategic consultant back in 2016, I was asked to go to Rotary International and facilitate these conversations. I was not a Rotary team member at the time. I did not know what they were doing, but I facilitated these workshops, and this was with the C-suite of Rotary International, and we were developing exactly those things. So it's kind of cool that now what I did, 12 years ago? Now I'm bringing it back, and we built that into our strategic plan and aligned all our goals and objectives around those 4 things. The other things we did, specify time frames and key measures. We said by such and such date we want these things done. We articulated, we time-boxed our goals and objectives, and we also had greater accountability with a scorecard. So we've got the scorecard and measures that we'll be sharing with you on a regular basis to hold ourselves and future presidents accountable as we move forward. And then lastly, I wanted to make it consumable for you guys so you could read it, understand it, follow it, and execute against it. We did not want this sitting on a shelf somewhere and ticking the box saying, we're done with our 5-year strategic plan. Okay, this is just a brief, I took a page out of it. This is the table of contents. It follows this vision, mission, values, our strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats, goals and objectives is where all the meat is. We've got like 12 goals and everything has supporting objectives. We have our scorecard, and then lastly, how do we maintain this? Key enablers, how do we keep this thing going? So that is the crux of it, and then the very end, we have all the supporting information, all the intellectual content that we got from the people that were part of this process. We've preserved it all. Okay, here's the executive summary. This is the second to last page. I've got one more slide, but this kind of sums it all up. Around the 4 priorities are these. It's going to be focus on measurable outcomes, expand partnerships, enhance fundraising efforts. Now, behind each of these are goals and objectives. So what we're doing and how we're going to get there is around each one of these. Expanding our reach, engage younger professionals, partner with local organizations, increase visibility through storytelling and media, and Brittany's going to be a big part of that. We made a big push on that, and that's also adaptability on getting out there and increasing our brand awareness within the community. Enhancing participant engagement, growing the membership annually, that we've been talking about that theme, improving retention, ensuring satisfaction. We're going to be measuring that. And then lastly, ability to adapt. One thing we want to do is move forward in digital from paperless transactions. We're moving to more digital transactions, so we want to maximize our use of applications. Okay, so then I get to my last slide here, which is where you can find this. And you can read it and look at it, highlight it, and come and ask me questions afterwards, because I know it's going to be it's such powerful reading. But it does provide a roadmap for where we're going. Okay, you can go to Club Runner. It is now posted. It's the 5-year strategic plan. It's posted on the website. The board of directors are now going to look at the goals and objectives, and directors are going to say, I'm going to sign up for this particular targeted measure for the year. We're going to establish the timeline and start to execute. And now the good thing is each president is going to review this roadmap or the 5-year strategic plan every time we have a new president and say, okay, I'm going to hold you guys accountable for these measures because we need to accomplish this 5-year strategic plan. Okay, and so wrapping it all up into a nice bow. So what does this mean for you? Okay, it provides confidence that our direction and clear guidance on how we're going to get there. But more importantly, you can see the areas that will help you grow and satisfy your needs. So I appreciate the opportunity to serve as the co-chair. We're all done and dusted. Chuck Sawyer, thank you again for your leadership. And I look forward to the execution of the 5-year strategic plan. Thank you.
Those of you who worked on the strategic plan, raise your hands. You deserve a round of applause. All right. Okay, thank you, everyone. And thank you to we didn't wave to our virtual guests, so thank you for watching. And we also have the scholarship cups on the table for Pima College and U of A scholarships, so, or you can use the QR code on there. Happy birthday, Joe, Bob, and Don. Thank you. And a special thank you to Dr. Lisa Chamberlain for speaking with us today. It was a great presentation, rapt attention. Thanks again to Mitch Pizik for being our cookie monster. And congratulations, Greg. Where are you, Greg, for your Paul Harris? There you are. Thank you for that. And Jonathan, Chuck, the whole committee, thank you for such a great job and all the time that was spent on the 5-year strategic plan. Next week, we have the mixer at Trident 2 on the patio there, so please, everyone, register. And our April 1st meeting is with Senator Mark Kelly, so please register for the lunch meeting and also register your guests. We will not, through the format we're using, have questions from the floor, so if you have questions you want to ask the senator, you can send them to my email address, which is not on there, but it'll be on the website. Dotary or Dottery, however you want to say it, at dkajobs.com. Send me your questions, and Michael Guyman's going to be the moderator, so we will ask them for you when we get together with Mark Kelly. And so, Mitch Pizik, where'd you go? There he is. Thank you, Mitch.
Here's to those who have seen us at our best and seen us at our worst and can't tell the difference.
Good one, Mitch. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. We're adjourned.